Ayam Atman Brahman. This self is Brahman. This is declared in the Upanishads. It is the simple truth. Similarly, the Upanishads declare, Aham Brahmasmi, I am Brahman. It is the same truth. The aspirant for liberation through self-realization is instructed, Tattvamasi, that you are. The meaning of these is quite clear. Your existence, the self, is Brahman. Only Brahman. And you do not have another kind of existence. That Brahman is absolute existence. It is non-dual, which signifies that there is nothing else other than it whatsoever. It is eternal, so necessarily it must be immutable. The changeless, the unborn, the imperishable, for which there is nothing else whatsoever. Such is Brahman, such is your real identity. To imagine yourself to be anything other than that is the cause, the starting point for any kind of illusory bondage and its consequent suffering. Your own nature, which is being consciousness bliss, has not a trace of bondage and does not suffer at all. For that, there is no samsara, no repetitive cycle of illusion of birth and death. If you strive for liberation from all this imagined bondage, to seek the bliss that is innate, you must know yourself. But in seeking to know yourself, you must not treat yourself as something other than the self, apart from it, for such is misidentification or ignorance. The very point of the inquiry, who am I, is to know yourself as you are, and not imagine yourself to be something other. If you take yourself to be something other, there will also be other things for that other one. For the individual, the jiva, there appears Jagat, the universe, and Ishvara, God, or Para, the Supreme. And all of that is treated as differentiated. But it is not so. If the individual being that you may assume yourself to be now inquires into his own nature, his individuality being unreal vanishes, and with it disappears all sense of otherness. If you are other than the self, then there's a world other than you and an absolute, whether called God or the self, other than you. But who are you? As long as the self would be treated as other than you, when will there be realization? If the self were known to be just as you are, that is all that you are, when would there be non-realization? In the Bhagavad Gita, there is a verse that says that the dharma of another is fraught with danger, and one's own dharma should be pursued. Again, the meaning is easily discernible. One's own dharma is to exist as the self and not as another. The dharma of another, that is of an ego, of a mind, of a body, is fraught with danger. The danger of falling into the repetitive illusion of samsara. To know yourself as you are is to be free of all such danger of samsara. It is the uprooting of the very potential for illusion. To know yourself is what is essential. Do not treat what is other than you as you. If you discard as having anything to do with your identity what is actually other, what is objective, what is changeful, what is not constant. Indeed, everything that's created or destructible. If you negate that from your sense of identity, what is it that remains? What remains is not limited in time and space, for it is not a body and it is not a mind. What remains has neither a state of bondage nor liberation, but is ever liberated, for it has no trace of individuality or egotism. What remains is what has been existing the whole time, and nothing other than that has actually been existing. So knowledge just reveals and does not bring about something new. It reveals what is real. What is real is the self, or that existence which is absolute, called Brahman. The same Vedas and the same Upanishads proclaim that Brahman is all, and yet also say Brahman alone is. How can Brahman be all and Brahman alone is? How can we have these two statements? They are not contradictory. All that actually exists is only Brahman. What is it that actually exists? When you think something exists, be it subtle or gross, from where does such experience or thought derive its reality? If, like this, you trace inward, through inquiry, what is real, you will find yourself, your being, which is consciousness, as the sole existent reality, or Brahman. And for that there is no other. Where there is no possibility of another, such is non-duality. The Maharshi has said that where I arises, all arises, and when I subsides, all subside. Therefore, we should know the nature of this I. If we seek this I which seems to rise and fall, and upon which everything else depends in our experience, and such is invariable, if we seek this I that rises and falls, we will find no such entity called I. What remains, knowing itself with its own innate knowledge, is pure being consciousness, the real self, which has no other I. So then, has anything actually arisen? Does anything disappear? This self is Brahman. It means your very existence is Brahman. Your existence is not two. There is only one existence for you. Bodiless, it is unborn and imperishable. Beyond thought, it can never be conceived. It remains as the unknown knower of everything known. the self that you invariably are, should know itself. For this, inquire. Who am I?